Welcome back to the REDSHIRT Seniors podcast. I am Eskandy, joined here as always. I can say that now because this is episode 2, Dustin. With Dustin McTaggart, Let It Fly Basketball. How are you,
We
Dustin?
made it. I'm
We
doing
made it.
awesome, man. Just got out of the gym.
It's
Long ass day, but I'm excited. Let's get to it, man.
it's crazy how we always land the intro in our first try, but we have
Mhm.
a lot of topics to talk about, Dustin. We cannot waste any more takes.
No,
So
you cannot. This
we
has
got
been
we
painful.
got we got Brooklyn crumbling.
Yeah.
We have a not so top 5. We have the elections here in the States, not a Canadian
Yes.
problem, but we can make anything a Canadian problem.
Yes, we
And we
can.
got so much to go over. But we have to start with the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, Kyrie Irving has muddied the waters yet again in Brooklyn.
He might have
Um,
done worse than that this time.
I think I was being generous. I think I was being super generous. But if
I'm
you
with you.
somehow do not know, Kyrie posted on his Instagram story some sort of promotion for this Amazon documentary or movie that just is just so anti-Semitic by
Yeah.
all accounts. I haven't seen it. I'm
I
hoping
haven't
you
seen
haven't
it
seen
yet.
it either. That's a good start. Good start. So neither of us have seen it. That's our 2 cents. But um, he's even retracted a little bit after all this has gone on, and this is just again, Kyrie's had a history of having these moments in time where he just collapses a franchise. But the first question, Dustin,
Yeah.
are the Brooklyn Nets redeemable? Is this a blip?
No, you know what? I think that they are to a point. So
Mhm,
I think they were up until last week for sure.
mhm,
Because I think when Joe Harris and Seth Curry come back, they'll have enough shooting. And I still think Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. I think Kevin Durant is still the best scorer in the league. And Kyrie Irving, when he's playing well, is could be arguable the best point guard in the league. Like we've seen it, KD and I think Kyrie combined what they were 37 and 35 one game this week,
mhm.
this past week, without two shooters who are snipers. But now within this last week, I I honestly don't know if he can bounce back after this stunt.
So are you talking from a strictly basketball sense? Like the pieces still fit. There's some guys that can mold
Yeah.
into better roles and maybe shake the cobwebs off after injury. What about just like the personal element of, dude, every year there's some sort of drawback with Kyrie. I gave him actually the benefit of the doubt with the vaccine stuff last year
Yeah.
because I thought that was sure a decision, but you also had guys around the league that also chose not to get vaccinated that were just not ridiculed like Kyrie was ridiculed.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal. There was other players
No, I
around the
think
league.
you're right. Like I know what you're
Mhm.
saying, and I think that I don't know. I think he's outdone himself, and I think what he does is I think he pushes media. Like I think
Mhm.
he does things just to show that he can do it. Like saying the Earth is flat and like stuff like that. Like I don't think that he thinks this stuff.
Mhm.
I think he just plays with the media, but I don't know, man. It's weird. And this last like that's one of the only things you can't do to not have a bounce back. And he's not
It's
even really apologizing.
no, but and it's not. I've totally dismissed the apology after it came a suspension. An apology after suspension. If the suspension was right on time with the post, like if the post went up the next morning, Kyrie suspended, then he
Yeah,
apologized. I'd give it a little bit more weight. But
yeah,
he played for a week. The Nets let him play, and then it got so hot that they all right, we can't trust this guy right now. He's suspended for 5 games. He has this laundry list of things to do before he can be put back in the team, and then you get an apology. So I don't really give weight to the apology, and I also wonder if it's an accumulation of stuff. Like I don't know if any one incident is more detrimental to the team, but when you have the same player
hmm
doing this all the time,
yeah.
stuff like this, is it so much where it's just like, dude, we just like cut bait, or is it just We built a team around KD and Kyrie. This is our bed. We just made it. We have to see this through.
I don't know, man. I think that all we can do is wait because you play devil's advocate for all of it. You can play
Mhm,
devil's advocate for he's one of the best point guards in the league. How can you just let him go? You can
mhm.
play devil's advocate for his trade value is so low right now that no one's gonna touch him.
That's the one I don't necessarily agree. Okay, trade value, fine. But let's say there's a world where because there's reporting that Kyrie might be out of the league or he played his last NBA game already. That I don't buy. I think there's just too many teams that could use that much scoring at that position where they'll maybe massage the public into accepting him again. I know what he did
Yeah.
was it's
I just think it's gonna be
irreprehensible.
way harder than we think it is with what he's
Mhm,
done.
right. So let's paint this
So
picture. Hold on. If Brooklyn says it's enough's enough, we've bought out Kyrie Irving, are the Lakers not making that call? Is Dallas
I
kicking
have
the
no faith
tires?
in that call. I think that I don't know. Like,
Right? Because like
obvious this is the thing, obviously,
right.
but does the league just do like the whole Ben Simmons thing, kind of?
Hmm.
And you're saying, okay, you want to play that way, we're gonna play this way. No one's picking you up. I don't know.
I just don't
I don't
I
know.
just don't think there's enough team that are gonna be able to stand by their guns like that if the Lakers keep losing.
The Lakers suck.
They're having the conversation. Well, yeah, they suck, but they can't afford to suck. They don't have draft picks. They don't have,
No,
you
yeah,
know,
sure.
they don't have an actual plausible way of winning. Is there okay, Kyrie, we'll make the donation on your behalf or something. You're gonna do all this community outwork, and then you're gonna be a Laker in 3 weeks when it's died down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think there's just too many desperate teams
No, you're
that
right. Like you're definitely
but
right. I don't know. Like what
I don't want that to be the case, but there's also, like, he
okay, so
is
what let's
overwhelming to
just
an
say
extent.
hypothetically, 3 weeks from
Yeah.
now, what do you think has happened?
Um, in the grand scheme of things,
What do you think is gonna happen in 3 weeks in the NBA? Where is Kyrie Irving playing? What does it look like?
I would say he's a Laker for a reduced asking price. It might have been
Sick.
a straight swap
That's
of
dope.
Russ, because I think Russ is low key increasing his value, and Kyrie's absolutely tanked his value. And I don't know if there's an actual trade outside of that in any team.
And like
But
all the salary cap lines up, whatever.
Brooklyn already just stuck to their guns when it came to the thing this summer. I don't know if they feel too invested in Kyrie to go the nuclear option where it's if we can't have him, no one can have him. Maybe they
Yeah.
just sit him out the whole year. It's hard.
And I don't know. And then they got Ben Simmons over there. Like they went through this drama and saga already.
Mhm.
It's just like, you know what? They're just sitting in their head offices and just punching air. How many computers have been punched in Brooklyn this year? Computer screens.
Oh, all of them. Phones have
All of
been
them.
smashed.
Phones
M
smashed. Keyboards are being thrown. And then
uh,
KD, yeah.
and Ben has this weird way of making himself weirdly useful at just the wrong times.
They
Because like,
all
watch,
do.
Kyrie has this hiatus. Maybe Ben starts averaging double-digit assists again. Maybe
Yeah,
he
yeah,
takes a couple more shots, and like maybe we can make it. And then a week later, he'll go right back into a shell.
yeah.
Um, but with that said, people have been recircling the wagons now when it comes to okay, if this Kyrie domino falls, is this KD one still available?
Does KD come right back to I need a new trade?
Like that 4-year commitment that we swore on again. Look, we fired the coach for you, KD, but look, we're still kind of losing. What are they? 4-6. I think they've kind of started maybe turning around, but again, we'll see where this Kyrie thing plunges them back to.
Yeah.
Um, where would you want to see KD in an ideal world?
If I have to say the Lakers anymore, I'm gonna pass out.
Ah, no,
I
you're
think he'd
not.
be great.
There's just
But
there's no way.
dude, I honestly believe like with what the Raptors are doing,
Mhm.
he'd be sick in Toronto
Mhm.
just because it's another like super long kind of do it all guy, but also like great scorer. But I think Memphis could use him like crazy to be like a serious contender.
I love the Memphis pick, but I wanna you mentioned Toronto, and we have to if Toronto's mentioned, we have to spend at least a couple minutes on it.
Yes,
The
yeah.
trade in the summer was, I believe, Pascal, OG, Gary,
Gary Trent,
and all the picks, whatever you need.
all of them, for
Is
just straight
that
straight up Kevin
just?
Durant.
I think that's the reporting. I'll let you take out one of Gary Trent and OG, but it has to be two. There has to be Pascal and one of those two, and then three picks, three swaps, the whole kitchen sink. Is that still a trade you would even consider right now if you're the Raptors?
No.
So you want to see him in Toronto, but you know the price is just too high.
Yeah, like I don't. I might be crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but like the way Pascal is playing right now, it would like you wouldn't get a straight yes straight up right now. I don't think
Mm-hmm. For
from like I
just
don't
those
think
one
you.
swap, one for one swap.
I don't know, man.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, well let's
Like
hear the.
I think that if you polled all of the GMs in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
most of them are saying it's a straight up swap, just
Really,
because
at this point,
scoring is so valuable. But let's. Is there any way we can pull up their stats beside each other right now?
I could do it on my screen here. I was actually halfway there.
Because the whole thing you can't do. There's too much value in your picks. There's too much value in OG and Trent on the Raptors lineup. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then what? You're gonna have Fred Van Fleet and Kevin Durant lead you to a promised lands? Because I don't think that's gonna work.
So, oh, these are career stats. It's like Pascal's only averaging 16 points a game this year. No, it's career. Oh, I can't get the just the straight game for game. Okay, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure KD is still well above 30 or in the
K-
30 ball club
KD is
right now.
leading the league in scoring, correct?
Cannot verify, but he's averaging 28. No, so Luke is averaging 36.
Okay,
So
that was
KD's averaging
Luca, my bad.
28. 28 points. He's averaging 3.5 turnovers, but he's averaging 6 assists, 7 boards, a steal and a block, 39% from three. Here's the argument if you're the Raptors, right?
Yep.
When you won a championship, you had a player in every series that was either the best player in Kawhi Leonard or at minimum tied for the best player in a series
Yeah.
every single step of the way. I don't know if there's a playoff matchup right now. Maybe if they somehow drew like a Cleveland, that they'd have the best player in Pascal Siakam. And that's if you're choosing Siakam over Donovan Mitchell, who's been on an absolute tear. But
Yeah.
if you
And
go down the
hopefully,
list, I feel like every other team in the league, every other playoff team in the East probably has a better playoff player than Pascal. And what did the Raptors do in their championship season? They tripled down on Kawhi, and that's what ultimately pulled them over the top. Like even in the Golden State series, I don't think Steph was necessarily better than Kawhi in that series.
the
I don't
Raptors
think
in like their
championship.
championship,
Yeah.
I will go on a limb and say Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA almost by like a dominant level or like so
Mhm.
much more like he was way better than anyone else we saw.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, they have Milwaukee has a Giannis." And it's like, "Okay, well, not anymore."
Mhm.
Like he dominated.
There's that, and then it was him and Embiid in that epic series. Him and Butler, too. Like they were all competitive with Kawhi. Giannis, Orlando was a wash, and then you had Steph and Katie for like a game and a half, and then Clay. But you would still say that we had the best player in the series. So is that something that is desirable if you're the Raptors right now? Look, we lose a lot of depth. We lose a great player in Siakam. But if we have KD on our team, we retain some value. Maybe they lose an OG or a Gary Trent from the deal. Now we have a pretty good skeleton and KD versus just a really deep team. Is that enough?
I think that if you keep one of them,
Hmm.
like you don't need Gary Trent anymore.
He's the second leading scorer on the Raptors at this point.
That's what I mean. So you get
Yeah.
rid of Pascal and you get rid of Gary Trent, and you
Mhm.
have a defender in OG. You have Scotty Barnes who can defend and play make.
Mhm.
Like I think you, I think you probably do it,
Right.
but I
My
don't
thing is
like.
like,
There's so much value in KD's scoring ability.
mhm. If you had this conversation at this point last year, we were all trying to get rid of Siakam.
Yeah,
So is this just another wave where Siakam's taking us back on a high and we're about to crash again? He got an injury.
Siakam is 10. I have his stats up right now.
Mhm.
Siakam's averaging 25, 9, and 8.
He's taking a leap. But is it real?
I don't know, man. He's 28 years old.
Mhm.
Like,
Katie's
r-
30 something 4.
yeah, I think that he's 34. I I don't know, man. I like to. I'm riding this Pascal shit out, especially with their lineup. Like their lineup, the game last night was so fun to watch. They played Chicago last night, and
Mhm.
for like the last like 4 or 5 minutes, they were like full speed defense, full speed transition. Guys are blocking shots, guys are getting deflections. It was so fun to watch. And I'm not even a Raptors guy like that. So I think that the fact that that's happening and like I think you ride it out.
And okay, and back to my theory about having the best player in a playoff series. Here's the teams in the East right now. Milwaukee has a better player in Giannis. Cleveland, toss up with Mitchell, or do you want to give Siakam an edge? Or do you think Mitchell's better?
I think that if we were talking positions, which I think we're going to,
Mhm.
um, Donovan Mitchell is way more like Donovan Mitchell could be the best shooting guard in the NBA. There's no way Pascal Siakam is the best power forward in the NBA.
Okay, so you would lean Cleveland. You have Boston with Tatum and Brown. Is
Yeah, Tatum's a
Pascal
better player
better
than
than Tatum?
Pascal.
Tatum's better. I think they have Atlanta beat. I am personally out on Trey Young. I know he gets big stats or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I
I
understand. I'm
don't.
with you.
He's not really a winner for me. Um, Washington, I think, is just a joke right now. I don't think they're really going to be in the sixth seed. Chicago, do you pick Siakam over DeRozan, Levine?
Yeah,
Probably. DeRozan's kind of nasty, but okay. Indiana again, not
DeRozan just
real.
doesn't
The
win.
Knicks, right? And then obviously, if you faced a Brooklyn in the playoffs, now it's KD. I think we both agree KD's better,
Yeah,
especially in a playoff series. Philly, no. Miami, is he better than Jimmy? Yeah.
I think he'd impact the game more than I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
So then again, so that just leads us to the fact that someone that we were probably very excited about, if the cost was only Pascal Siakam, probably is now a no deal.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like he has really stepped up. And the thing about Siakam is he's been so good for the city of Toronto. Like I don't know how many events I've been to and he's there. And he's been there
Mm.
since he was a 905 guy. He's been there ever since he was a dominant player in the NBA. Like he's always been there.
And you know how Masai feels about that.
Yeah. No,
He
like
booted DeRozan so quick.
I I agree. And as soon as the DeRozan thing happened, as soon as I saw that we got Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan, I promise you, and no word of a lie, hand of God, I was like, this is amazing.
Mhm.
I feel more like Pascal Siakam would hurt than DeRozan, and I don't know why.
And you know what's interesting about that is the ask the asking price for Kawhi ended up being DeRozan, Pirtle, and a first. I don't know who that first ended up being, but not only did you get Kawhi, you got Danny Green, who also contributed and also tried to sabotage the championship run.
He did his best to lose us those games, but also we won.
Yeah, so like, here's your ring. Have fun in Philly or wherever he is now. I think he's in like Memphis,
I don't know.
not playing. I
Okay.
think he's hurt. Anyways, so again, now you're talking about a bigger piece probably in Pascal right now. All the firsts, rotation players, not just a
Mhm.
young center.
You can't do it.
So you can't do it. Dustin, you sent me. Would you would you say you have draw inspiration from Berkeley? Because you sent me a video of him ranking his
Yeah.
top players, but he's also in the
Um,
same space as you.
Definitely. No, Brickley is super sick. And
Mm,
the reason why I think Brickley is so dope, and it's I know guys who know him really well, like on a
mm,
friend level. And so Brickley used to work. So the person we're talking to, for people who don't know, is Chris Brickley, who is a trainer who does it all privately. He does it by himself, but he does like LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Paulo Banchero. He does like major guys, all of them. Carmelo Anthony's
trains,
son. Pardon me?
trains.
What did I say?
You keep saying he does them,
Oh,
which I don't want you people to think it's
no. Thanks
that
for
kind of
covering.
party.
Yeah, definitely not one of those. So he does basketball training, basketball skill development.
Mhm,
But he used to work with the Knicks.
mhm,
And he was like, no, like I could do this better, or I don't want to do it under an NBA umbrella, and did it under his own. And now he owns his own gym and he's got like top guys in the gym consistently. But
mhm.
he does such a good job, and this is why I think he's so successful, is because he's just buddies with them.
Yeah.
Like he's friends with these guys. So they all hang out. I think he started with like J.R. Smith. And they were such good friends, and then more people started coming, and he's just a down to earth dude who trains guys and is like a dope person. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
doesn't do like the whole stigma. Like he's all tatted up. He rocks fashion. He's in 2K. Like he's got all this stuff going on.
Mhm.
And as opposed to like the guys who are like, oh, it has to be perfect. We have to be perfect role model. I'm sure he's a great role model, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's not
Yeah.
some old fashioned bullshit. Like he's doing all his own thing. He's in rap songs. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And that sentiment that you're talking about, by the way, you also mentioned 2K. I think that's where 99% of these people that are gonna listen to this podcast know Berkeley from, is
Yeah.
because you have to do his drills on 2K, so he's done a
Yeah.
good job integrating himself in the game. But you're talking about basically not only is he technically gifted in his ability to train, but he's a good hang.
Yeah.
And in my business, the photo video world, the any sort of business you wanna build around, you know, that needs access to players, that's what it boils down to. Are you a good hang?
Yeah.
Right.
Casey
Like
Athena,
they're
right? People
mhm,
love her.
yeah. But yeah, you like I actually met her this year at Summer League, by the way. You pointed her out last summer, 2 summer leagues ago. I had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
I followed her, saw her again this year, tried to be buddy with her. Understandably, she was just a couple notches up on the ladder.
Yeah.
But again, great photographer. I don't think she's the best photographer. She does great stuff, but she's a great hang, and she earned the trust of these players, which is that's way harder than photography. It's
For
way
sure.
more
And
difficult to
that's what it boils down to with anything is
mhm,
people, and this is what I heard when I was first started in sales as like a 19-year-old. It was like
mhm.
you just have to be everyone's like buddy and best friend, but then you have to know your shit if that question comes up,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
And
Which
my
and that's what I do with my training. Like I really just like if you ask any of my guys that I train with and they like come to me all summer, we're
mhm,
boys,
yeah.
and then we just
Uh,
work.
it's the same thing here. And I also would add not having a stench is good. I call a stench not like an actual odor, but sort of like people know when you're just being buddy because you want something out of them.
Agreed.
You have to genuinely mean I've had a great privilege of working with many people that I was dying to work with, but it didn't come from a place like, please let me do this for you, let me do this for you. It's just the friends vouch for me because it was nice to. You have to be cool with everyone. There's no one beneath you if you're in the people business.
No,
You have
agreed.
to have a
100%.
clean rep, and when you have the clean rep, you have no stench, and things can go. Anyways, we
Agreed.
derailed from Berkeley. Berkeley had a TikTok. Mind you, he was on the spot, or it was a podcast turned into a TikTok
Yeah, and
where
you know how
he get.
we are in these podcasts. You never have any idea what's gonna happen. There's no schedules.
I
But yeah,
so I'm
so
gonna
he
try to
did his
share
drills.
it. I'm gonna try to share it. Let's see if this tech works. Um, no, it's not gonna work.
No,
So I can no, no.
you had
I
this in
watching this shit.
after.
I tried. I didn't even.
I like it. So let's talk about his list. Um,
Mm.
so his point guard was Ja Morant. His best shooting guard in the league was Donovan Mitchell. His small forward best in the league was Jimmy Butler. His best power forward was LeBron James. And at center, he had Anthony Davis. So, what's your first reaction? Because I know what my first reaction is.
My very first reaction is bullshit.
Yeah, not right.
These aren't the best. But then your secondary and tertiary reactions are probably something you can speak better to.
Yeah. So when I first saw Ja Morant, I was like, "There's no way Ja Morant's the best point guard in the league." And then I'm just like,
Mm.
someone asked me like dark horse MVP candidate the other day. I was like Ja Morant, and it's just like, well, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But
Right.
do you want to go over? Let's make our own lists.
Sure.
You go
So
first.
for me, and I know Ja's had a great season. He's going to be the best point guard in the league at some point. It's Steph. If you have Luca as a point guard, it's Luca or Steph, but it's not Ja for me.
I
Not
agree.
yet. And like
So
Steph,
you
just
have point guard. You have Steph or Luca. Which one?
I'll take Steph. I think Steph's still a better point guard than Luca.
Okay, shooting guard. He has
I'll
Donovan
go
Mitchell.
right. I would go Booker.
Okay, and then small forward. He has Jimmy Butler. Chris Brickley, you're wrong.
Right. I like Jimmy too.
Of
Um,
course, we like
and
Jimmy.
I'd have him on my probably like fifth or so on my list. But I count Luke as a small forward. That's an unpopular take, but there's still LeBron. There's still Tatum. There's still so many other options at small forward
Okay,
for
so
me.
you take Luca in that.
I would take Luca personally if people would allow me to have him as a small forward.
Okay, and then your power forward. He has LeBron. Understandable.
Sure, Giannis, KD, Braun. I'll take
Which one?
Giannis. I'll take Giannis.
Okay, and then center. He has Anthony Davis.
That's actually slander.
That's
That's
blasphemy.
that's AD. You haven't been in the gym in a little while with me. Let's come on. Let's get some work in. Let's
AD.
if you hear this, like like
That's so funny.
that has to be it because there's no the two MVP candidates, clear cut, no third option MVP candidates last year were two centers,
Yeah.
Embiid and Jokic.
No, I agree.
And okay, between those two, fine. You can pick Jokic, I'll argue Embiid. You can pick Embiid, I'll argue Jokic.
Yeah.
AD's not there
No. I agree 100%.
again. So you think this is him just being too close to the sun? Do you have your own list?
So I think I have a list for sure. I think the Jimmy Butler one is like clearly like Jimmy Butler's like one of his day one
So
guys.
you're more outraged at the Jimmy Butler one than the center?
Yeah.
Really?
Just because AD was the best big in the league for a long time.
Okay.
So let's just say he thinks he's hurt, he's coming back, whatever. He was.
Hmm.
I think at
Yeah.
point guard it's Steph. I'm taking Steph just his ability to shoot the ball. Shooting guard, I legitimately believe Donovan Mitchell. I didn't at first is the best shooting guard in the league. After I look back, he's never missed a playoff series. He's dominant. I
Hmm.
take Donovan Mitchell. I would argue Brad Beal or Devin Booker, but Brad Beal just hasn't done anything. Small forward, I'm taking Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Power forward, I'm taking Giannis. And then at center, I'm taking Jokic. And after seeing Jokic play for the first couple games this year, I would probably argue back Embiid, but I
Hmm.
still think Jokic is a better basketball player.
Jokic back to back MVP. Like you can't go wrong with that pick.
Yeah. What are you
Like
doing,
it's
Anthony Davis?
I don't know if Davis maybe has an argument for like third, but even there, it's like
He's
is Cat better? Is
Anthony Davis
Gobert
is
more useful right
dominant.
now?
Anthony Davis is dominant when he's going.
When he's going, he hasn't gone, and
No,
he obviously hasn't gone to Berkeley in a while. That's why he made the list.
I agree that it's Embiid or Jokic. And if you want to, the only argument I will accept in this is if
Hmm.
you want to play Giannis at the five.
Fine.
Yeah,
I Yeah, okay, fine. I'll take Giannis at the five if he's only the five eligible guy. But like again, Jokic, Embiid, just
yeah,
miles ahead of the transitional center.
yeah.
Do you
I
want to
agree.
extend this out to a field that we're more
Yes,
acute in, where
I
we
love
and only a
this.
small cabal have knowledge on this field.
And I feel like
That is,
it's still going to be lame and it's still going to be very similar,
yeah.
but let's do it.
If we were to rank the top player at each position in the prep scene, who would you have as your point guard?
Are you asking me right now?
I would ask you this right now.
Like this is
Would you
okay.
like me
It's
to
happening.
start? It's
So while that was happening, because this kid deserves so much more attention than he's getting, I am
Mhm.
currently logging on to the OSBA website so I can butcher his last name, so I don't only have to say his first name. So
Okay.
sorry.
While you
My
while you
third,
while you look.
no,
Okay.
I got it. I am ready
Okay.
to rock. I don't see his name.
Yeah, it's I know your pick.
Okay, you
First
go
name
first. Sorry.
first name you can pronounce. Are you gonna try to Google Translate the last name or what?
No, it's just they have the wrong things up. Okay, so my
Okay.
point guard
Mhm.
is Felix from Fort Erie. I have
40
no
red,
clue
40
where
red,
Fort Erie
40
Red
red.
Charles's team. Yep,
There you go.
Charles team. I don't know why I
Yeah.
can't find the 2023 rosters, but he's like a 6'4", 6'5" point guard. He's like
Mhm.
Russ. He had like 6 blocks in the first quarter of the game I saw. He ended with
Mhm.
like you were at that game. Do you know what his stats were at the end of that game? You made the thing.
Oh yeah, that was a while
You
ago.
made the thumbnail with the stats on
Against
it.
New Horizon.
New Horizon.
27, 16. Is it 5 blocks?
16 points, 5 blocks. 16 rebounds, sorry. 5 blocks.
I think. Gun to my head. Ugh.
Okay, yeah. So, dude, I think like this kid is good. And apparently he
Mm,
already has, I don't know if it's offers or interest from a bunch of mid major, high major D1s for
mhm.
next year. And he's got another year.
That whole Charles team has more time.
Yeah. So
That's
he's
what's
already
insane.
getting offers for 2023 and he's got the option for 2024. So I think he's the best point guard in the country. And I think he's dominant. So that's my point guard. I wish I could say his last name. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe he can pronounce it for us. Shooting guard. I think this is across the board. You
Well,
don't have to answer.
let's go point guard, shooting guard, shooting guard.
Okay,
Got a
who's
list.
your point guard?
Jahari from Royal Crown. He
Okay.
just accepted an offer last month or so, a few weeks ago at Valpo. Um, the difference between the two, Jahari more traditional point guard, still a scoring guard, but Felix is a very physical kind of. He'll take advantage of any smaller point guard that he's faced with. He'll outboard him. He'll go right to the paint. If you draw one for him, he's hitting the open guy. Jahari's more of a traditional. He'll hit the threes. He'll get to the rim. He'll make passes type of deal. And
Yeah.
and if this conversation was last year, it just puts in perspective how great Clayton was last year.
Oh, dominant.
Because I would take Clayton distant first this year.
I wouldn't.
Really, you're very high on the Felix kid.
Super high. I am unbelievably high on this kid, dude.
Hmm. What about shooting guard?
Clayton graduated last year. This kid's gonna graduate and could come back for another year.
I just thought Clayton. I mean, I think you could put Clayton on any program in the country, in the states,
I agree.
and he wouldn't stick out as a problem anywhere.
No,
If he was the fourth guy
I
on
think that
Duke,
maybe the upside of this kid is I
right?
feel like is way higher. Clayton's nasty, don't get me wrong.
I
His
like
last
the
name is
low risk.
Kosaris. His last
It's
name is
not
Kosaris.
okay. That's not that bad.
Yeah, it's probably not right, but that's what I
Yeah,
read.
you could also mumble it and then it'll sound somewhere right.
Yeah, Kosaris.
Yeah. Shooting guard. We must have consensus.
Biosteel MVP.
Three, two, one. No, I'm not gonna.
I'm not doing
Yeah,
that
it's Vishanalet.
for sure.
And it's that by mouth. Vashon plays PG right now for for United Scholastic, but I think to get the most accurate representation of him, he's a shooting guard.
He's Sean's dominant,
Yeah.
and he steps up in big games. He's dominant. He's taking every visit under the sun right now. High major
Yeah.
kid. He's good.
He has his brother, is it Yari? No, I think it starts with a Y. I'm messing up, but he took his brother with or and his brother probably earned in his own right a visit to Old Dominion. If you're Rashawn, would you say package deal and just
No,
go with
I
your
think his
brother,
brother
or do
can
you
win
need to?
his own way. No, I think Vashawn
Yeah.
needs to go. I believe Vashawn should go to a small school
Mhm.
where he's an underdog and he can just go at all these guys and just go kill. Like if he wants to be a leaguer and if he's his goal is NBA, how many studs have came from high major schools? Not as many as guys who came from schools would have had to do it.
He's also one of those manufacturer controversy guys that have the Jordan baseball bat scene in The Last Dance where
Yeah.
they have to have a chip. Not, I think Fashawn's talented enough to get out of this phase in his career, but it's also he's at his best when there's that FU in the game. And
Yeah,
sometimes you
no,
gotta
he's a
make the
dog.
FU.
He's
So
a
I
dog.
think if he's on the best team in the country, there's a lot less FU games. Or maybe every game's an FU game if everyone's gunning for you. But I feel like him in that small school
No,
like
I
you're talking
think
about,
yeah, yeah. No, I think he should go to a small school and just go kill.
um, for me, the best player in prep is a small forward. Same team. You'll probably take Vashon. Am I wrong in that? After
Say
all the
that again.
praise, would you
No,
have
I think
Vashon
this
as
kid's better because I think this kid's at 2025 or something ridiculous.
he's in 11th grade or 10th grade right now?
He's 11th
Like,
grade right now. He's got 12 and another one after.
yeah, and he can go play in any program, anywhere, right now,
He'd
in
be the
terms of
best
high
one.
school, and he'd be playing, and he'd be a big player. Uh,
Definitely. A,
Afosa Oliogu.
a Fosa from United Scholastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think he's a league player like the rest of
He's dominant. He's got
um
everything. I don't know about his jump shot, but he doesn't have to do that right now. I think that's going to be the make or break for him. But if we're talking about best small forward in the country, and he has 2 more years of high school left, what?
yeah, and I think we have 2 more years to talk about him, so we'll push through that right now.
Yeah,
Um, this is where it gets interesting. Forwards and centers.
yeah.
Who would you have as your power forward?
So first, first podcast we did never
Mhm.
released,
Yeah.
and I said that this kid was one of my top three on players to watch. We never got to release it. I
Mhm.
recruited the heck out of him when I was going to go be head coach this year. Didn't get him. Obviously, he went to a major school. But
Mhm.
Matai Baptiste is like a prototype forward. He's really like
Mhm.
a three probably, but in Canada or right now he's like a four. He's 6'9". He scored 20 points or 19 points against the City Reapers or whatever in the overtime elite league. He's a Division 1 player. He's 6'9", can shoot, got a little wiggle to him. He can play. I think he's the best power forward. What about
Mhm.
you?
So originally I had Sacco from Jay Addison, but I kind of want to pivot. Sacco in his own right, he plays almost guard for Jay Addison, but he's a big guy. Like
Yeah,
he is a tank. He takes people off rip from the 3-point line to the rim, and he's finishing everything. Him and Sano are just insane. Jay
yeah.
Addison's a problem. I'm gonna pivot right now though, and I
Hot
want to
take.
go. I want to go with Christian Nitu, even though he's not playing to his capability right now, and I don't think that's a hot take. He's there's just a lot of just vertical room to grow for him, and it's just
He's got
yeah, it's to
unbelievable touch, that kid.
the touch is insane. He loves the tween game, which I also have a soft spot for. You'll see him working on his post phase all the time and his midi and all those things. He can hit from outside. He has to take care of the big man duties. Like there is no 6'10", 6'11" that's not gonna have to rebound and not gonna have to defend bigger guys. Like that's just part of the role, and that's the things that he has to take care of. That's his chore.
Yeah.
As soon as he locks that up, again, high major obviously potential, and again, if you address that one area and you're 6'11" and you have the rest of it, there is serious money in a player like that.
No, for sure. I agree. I was thinking him when I was saying it that another guy didn't touch on.
Mhm.
Um, I I don't know if he has it. I
Mm,
don't know if he has like the inner like go and get it, but we'll see because he's one of those guys whose ceiling is so unbelievable. And when I
yeah,
first met him, I thought he or when I've never really talked to him.
yeah.
Um, but when I first saw him playing, I was like, damn, this guy's like a dog. He's in it. And then every other game I've seen, I've just been like, you know what? I'm not sure.
I get that, and I go to a lot of 40 games, so there's probably bias there. But I see it. I see it sparking up right now. And Charles did the ultimate chess move against Crestwood last week when they played, and he sat in it to like pretty much the whole second half. And I think if there's guys that can unleash talent and just get that fu out of you, it's going to be Charles. And I think that's something that he's working on. And I think it's in. Like you don't want to see a guy sit on the bench and not be pissed about it. And you could sense the oh shit, Nitu's still not in. Nitu's not, and I think it's boiling. I think it's something that's on the horizon for him,
I
and
like it. No, I hope so
I'm
because
gonna
his like
think
his ceiling is so unbelievable.
center.
I'm going with Sano.
Santa. This is Jay Addison.
Jay Addison, the more forward brother.
Yeah.
He and this is probably he's probably more of a four. But
Yeah.
every single time I've ever made a team that I've made the way I want to, you can look at my year with Frank Mitchell at Oakville. Like I want
Hmm.
a big who can rebound, block shots, and create without the ball in his hands.
Hmm.
And I think he is like a picture perfect kid for that. So first off, that team that I made is disgusting. I don't want to play that team in high school.
No.
Um, but who do you have at the five?
Um, the big man out of Dynasty. I don't know. It's French, but Afran. Um,
He's young.
RFN. Yeah, he's young. He picked up a bunch of offers after the Battle of the Fort. He continues to pick up offers now. He is just physicality. If look, there's
How tall
very
is he?
few. I would say 6'10", 6'9", something around. I don't know. My height stuff is all messed up. You kids, the 6'1s are actually 5'8". Like I don't know.
No, they ruined it.
E- ev- Everything's messed up, but tall enough to play the five. But there's also very few guys that I've seen at this level that will actually make you pay for being too deep in the post, right?
Yeah.
Like like a lot of the centers, it's still a layup. It's still
He's like
they'll get
punching
points
it.
sometimes. He's punching it. He doesn't care about you. If you're under the rim and he can just stand and dunk it,
And
he's gonna
what
stand
is
and
this
dunk it.
kid in grade 10? He's young, right?
He's young. I believe I was told he's in grade 10, maybe grade 11. He's very young. He's got years left, but by all accounts, now when you already have again, he's a guy that took care of his chores, right? Like he's got the nitty gritty of being a center down. Now we can work inside out. If there's a 15-footer, it's over.
Who cares? If he's
He
that
doesn't
dominant
need it.
under the rim, who cares?
Exactly. Right. But that's the luxury of taking care of your business first. Right? Now
Agreed.
you can
No,
add all
agreed.
these other things later on in your game that are just luxuries. But he makes you pay dominant five.
I like it. And also, let's just please clarify that this is our list from guys who are currently playing here.
Yeah.
Like, I can name three other kids that I would take over guys on this list who are playing down south.
Well,
But
then you gotta stay here. That's the problem, right? You gotta
if you
stop going
want
to
to
states
be
for
on
school. Actually,
if you want to be on our podcast, you better be playing in Canada.
if you want to be featured on the Red Shirt Seniors, there's only one condition. You gotta stay home. Uh, Dusty, our American friends have their elections today when this airs. Do you want to
Yeah,
do our elections now, or do you want to punt?
let's do it.
You want to go for it? Okay. Well, I'm happy you said that because we have election music.
I love
It might be
election
way too
music.
loud, and I apologize in advance, guys. This is a low budget podcast. We're trying, we're working on things, but here's
Looking for a producer.
it's not. It sounds more like WWE. Anyways, the first question at the polls, top of the ticket, Dustin.
Off of the ticket. I like this
are you,
question.
are you going to build your franchise for the next foreseeable future, 10, 15 years, around American, boo, Paulo Banchero, or Canadian Benedict Mathurin. Yay!
I
Whatever you choose, I'll fight you.
Okay, perfect. That makes my job a lot easier. Because I'm gonna go with what I actually believe,
Okay.
and I believe that Paulo Banchero is like generational.
Hmm.
He's 6'10", 250 pounds. He averages 23 points a game in his rookie year, eight and a
Yeah.
half rebounds, 4 assists. Like, I can't pull up LeBron James rookie numbers because you'll hear me
Yeah.
clicking, and I don't want to. But dude, this guy is a problem.
So you're going with Paulo Banchero, the American on the top of your ticket.
Yeah,
Let me pitch you this. Let me pitch you Ben. Okay. Ben, while it's only a 6 minute difference, right? 6 minute
yeah.
difference in playing time. Ben's coming off the bench and finding his shot every game. I still think he's still over 20 points per game, handful of rebounds, a couple assists here and there. But this is why I would pick Ben, and I'm going to talk myself into it. Okay,
Hmm.
I pick Ben because Paulo Banchero by himself will not win a championship. You have to fit players around him. I feel that you can pick that having Ben Bathurst on your team might be even more complimentary, easier to compliment a guy like Ben. The 6'8" shooting guard. He's
I
got
just
the three
love
point.
right now that you're talking to me in riddles. Like you're talking to me like I'm.
I have to convince us both right now. Okay,
Yeah. Okay, I
so
like it.
the more Lords, the more Game of Thrones it sounds, the better it is in my head.
Yeah, little finger.
But no, but is there an argument to be made that having a team built around Ben's skill set might be a little bit easier than relying on Paulo, who has to be 1A?
I think that Ben's like ceiling. So right now, Paulo has like the okay, he's 6'10", he can score the ball whenever he wants, but he still shoots the ball at 20 something percent.
Mm-hmm.
Ben is shooting the ball at 43% from three.
Again, small sample size. We don't know what they actually shoot like.
Yeah, no, I think Ben is a problem.
I think
Like
he's
6 minutes is a
fantastic.
huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still averaging 21 points a game and 4 rebounds. Like if he's out there for another six, okay, maybe he scores 23. And then now the numbers are right there. And he already shoots the ball 20% better from three.
Is 21 points a game against second units? Is it even against second unit? Like Paolo is drawing probably the best defender. It's Orlando. There's not a lot of weapons. I mean,
Oh, I was
they have
gonna
guys
say,
like
what do you mean
Franz. It's like,
only second minutes? No, I think that you can go either way with this. I think the only difference is
ah, I'm working on it. I willed you down. You can go either
what?
way. Go either way on Paolo or Ben, or go either way on this argument.
No, I think that there's devil's advocate for
Okay,
Ben. I think
let's go.
Paulo is 6'10", like doing it.
Have I helped convince you at all?
Yeah, no,
Or am I
this
just going to be a terrible attorney?
dude, when I watched Ben play in the U19s, I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Mhm.
He's
I didn't think
good, very
I had the
good.
opposite take.
What's that?
I didn't like him on that team.
Really?
Yeah, I
Why?
was
Because he was dominant?
was he dominant or was he just gun I remember Caleb having a not a good tournament that time. That was the Caleb Houston, Nana Wusu, Benedict Mathurin. That was that crowd, right?
Prosper.
Yeah, Prosper. Oh, maybe I'm getting Prosper and Ben mixed up then.
No, Prosper is good too.
He was good.
Yeah. Um, this is gonna be a long podcast,
Yeah.
so let's
Uh
get to the next topic. I like both of them, and I like Ben's
okay.
ability to shoot the ball.
Off topic. Slightly. Half off topic. Who would you rather be right now? Kanye West or Kyrie Irving?
I think personally, like living in my body, I would way rather be Kanye West just because he actually believes he never does anything wrong.
So you'd like to live in that, like, because if you were Kanye, you wouldn't even. You would think you're
Probably,
right.
probably wakes up and thinks nothing's going on.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, I'm in some trouble. Oh well.
Oh no. Kyrie's the hooper though, because you also get the hooping ability with this.
Kyrie, you get the hooper, but he might never play basketball again. So I think, do you know what I think Kyrie Irving's doing right now? I
Mhm.
think Kyrie Irving is sitting at home being like, shit, I pushed this way too far.
Yeah.
Because I think he messes with media. Like, I think he says things just to be like, look, you guys are going to talk about this.
Mhm. I agree.
This is
Uh,
bad for him.
I'm gonna not answer that question because I have a job outside of basketball, so I pick neither. Moving on. OSBA are seemingly pondering the idea of going back to one giant pool. Are you Would you rather have pool A, pool B as it exists right now, or go back to the one giant pool?
I'm going to answer it super quick. And
Yep,
then I'm going to tell you why I think it doesn't matter. Or I just, my bone to
go for it.
pick with the OSBA. Keep it pool A, pool B. Because
Mm,
the top pool A teams already beat up on the bottom of pool B. They don't need to play the bottom of pool A. They don't need to play the bottom tier teams. It's
mm,
just a waste of everyone's time. Um, no, these new schools cannot hang with the top teams. No, the teams that have been around who don't have good players can't bang with these teams. They don't need to play each other. Why are we getting through halfway through seasons or through tournaments for like the play-in tournament? OSBA. Why do we play the play-in tournament?
mm.
The way it handled. Okay, Crestwood, New Horizon. Was there two more teams were not supposed to be in Pool A? And then at the end of the play-in, they went, maybe you'll be in
But
Pool A.
was it maybe Victory? I think Victory might have lost to Hoden at the end. I think Crestwood won their last game. I don't know.
Crestwood
I can't
lost to
remember.
Lincoln.
Yeah, in their first game, but they were still. I think they still had a game against Victor. No, maybe they played
All in
Victory.
all, there was either two,
Regardless,
three, or four teams that were supposed to be in Pool A that
two.
after the whole thing was done, they just went, okay, maybe you'll stay in Pool A. Why?
Mm.
Now we're in the middle of a season, not middle of a season, obviously, but we just started a season. And now you're going to say we're just going to get rid of these pools?
What's the ideal situation for you? Do you think it matters? Do you think actually having the top 10 and the bottom 10 only play each other is a better system? Is that the position?
Yeah, I do because I think there's a huge talent gap.
Mm.
And I don't think the bottom 8, 10, 6 teams are in Pool B.
Mm.
I think there's a couple teams that can bang. And I think there's a couple teams in Pool A who don't deserve to be there.
Okay. So I like so at the end of the season, if they were to keep the both tiers, there's like an actual like playoff almost format where it's like best 2 out of 3s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just do away with the play-in, just have people in the OSBA that can recognize maybe the top 8, 10 off rip. Play-in tournament doesn't do
No, there has to
anything.
be a play-in tournament because you can't just say I think this team's going to be better.
But the play-in tournament as the first thing in the calendar, it's such a wild gauge of where those teams are at. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they school just started. The
No,
teams are still adding
I agree
players.
with that portion of it. It should
Mhm.
go off last year's rankings then.
Yeah. And then a play-in maybe at
Because
the midseason. Like
the
everyone plays each other once type of thing and then play-in.
Pool A, Pool B, yeah, why don't you just play Pool A is always Pool A until Christmas.
Mhm.
And then next year or whatever, and then you just play, okay, you guys have been demoted for the year after or something. Problem is, teams are always changing. Who knows?
Yeah, there's no like the turnover's crazy.
But A, B is sick, and
Mhm.
then the play-in is sick because there are going to be a couple teams every year in Pool B who are way better than the other teams.
Mhm.
So they deserve a chance to beat up on everyone. And then, yeah, now you got to go play the bottom of Pool A, which is how it should go.
And we're back. Executive edit right there. Cut it right there. Guys, this has been another episode of the Red Shirt Senior Podcast. Dustin, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
Yeah, Instagram at Let It Fly Basketball, Instagram at Dustin McTaggart, either or. I'm always in the gym. I was in the gym today from 1 o'clock till 10. Um, Over 100 kids trained today, which was amazing. Today was a great, like, just so many kids in the gym getting better. Send me a message, always open. Any questions, answer. I've had a bunch of people reach out on this podcast about unpopular opinions that I may or may not have had. I'm always
Yeah.
open to argue them or debate it. But Instagram's the best way for me.
Soon enough, you're gonna have those Instagram notifications off, like I do. It gets overbearing. How could you say this? Guys, I'm home this coming weekend, so I'm gonna find something in my schedule. Is there platinum? Is there premiere? Is there anything? Maybe some. Maybe I'll catch some of these OSBA games this week. You see me? Come say what's up, guys. Thank you for watching the Red Shirt Senior Podcast. It's never too late to redshirt. Dustin, is it ever too late to redshirt?
Never.
It's never too late to redshirt. Peace.